All right, welcome to my house. Welcome back. A while back, I had an idea to create a daylight look and a night look in the same space. And after months of procrastinating, I finally sat down to do it. This isn't a lighting tutorial. This is just me and my thought process lighting these looks and what challenges I had during the shooting and what I wished I could have. If you're new here, if you're new to my channel, I have been doing filmmaking for a very long time, and I now decided to start a YouTube channel. So I would appreciate if you subscribed. The location we are shooting this is my living room in my house, and the gear I have for this shoot was 3 non-light pivot tubes 30x, 2 Godox 100 watts bicolor, a light stick, my Red Komodo with a Sigma 18-35 lens, and 2 Aputure spotlight mounts. My living room is quite wide in space, and we also have white walls, so I knew if I put any kind of light it would bounce everywhere. And because I didn't have negative fills and panels or diffusers, I thought of dialing the lights to 100% all the way to the max, and then exposing for my highlights, so my shadows would be a bit darker, but I didn't have any diffusers or panels that would make a little bit soft light, so I had to improvise. Just a side note, I filmed the whole thing and even what I'm doing right now on the Red Komodo with autofocus on. What? Because one, I wanted to try out the autofocus and see how reliable it was. And second of all, I couldn't focus pull on my own. And even if I used focus pull, I had to keep going back and forth and check whether the focus was on point. And I didn't want to go through the anxiety, even though somebody might argue that the anxiety of autofocus on the Komodo is kind of questionable, but it is what it is. I think it was okay, and I think it does its job. So starting off with the daylight look, I knew that I had to simulate hard shadows on myself, like here and here, because as you may know, when the sun is not on an ideal angle, every light that bounces in the house is diffused and soft, but more on that later. What I did first was set 2 non-light pivot tubes, and I had one for rim light here and one for key light here. And even though I have a window off camera here, I still needed one non-light because I wanted smooth shadow roll off on my face to have a nice contrast ratio. Now all I have to do was put a spotlight to blast it on my clothes here, so it can sort of simulate a realism as if a little bit of sunlight was peeking through the window from this side here. And I think it's nice because it gives us sort of a realism in the shot. Now on top of all those things that I did, I also wanted to put some texture on the wall here and here. Usually when there is a lot of sunlight coming in the house, you get hard shadows on the walls. But because my lights weren't strong enough to put them outside and blast them inside, I had to improvise. So what I ended up doing was using another spotlight far away on the other side of the house, and I reflected it off of the floor. And because our house floor is shiny and reflective, it gave these nice textures here. If I used the spotlight and blasted it actually on the wall here instead of the floor, it would have looked weird because of the weird angle I was back there. One thing I would have added on this clip was maybe put a very bright source of sunlight, fake sunlight obviously, either achieved with a 600D or a 1200D, to really simulate strong sunlight coming in. I would probably put it somewhere here outside the house and would just blast it inside the house. What would this do was probably give a rim light on this PS portal here. It would give me a very hard hair light on this side as well. It would give texture to these pillows here. It would make the shot even better, but I worked with what I have, and I didn't have a 600D or a 1200D. So if you're a filmmaker like me, or any kind of artist really, and you would like to have an unlimited library of assets and music, Artlist is the one website you can find all this. With just one subscription, you get access to a library of music, sound effects, stock footage, video editing apps, templates, and many more. Artlist was kind enough to provide me with an affiliate link that gives you 2 months extra for free on your annual subscription, or $50 discount on your motion array annual plans. I have been using Artlist for years now and I love their stuff. And if you use my link in the description, you can get all these perks. It really helps small channels like mine. Now going into the night shot, apart from switching on the white balance Kelvin on the camera and the lights to a bit warmer color, I also turn on the practical in the back, like here, and I also lit up some candles here, just so I can have a little bit of interesting things in the background, because I couldn't have a spotlight this time. The window back here was completely dark before I start, and I knew that I had to simulate a kind of moonlight there. So what I ended up doing, I took one of my non-light and set it to an RGB color, a cyan color, and then I faced it on the wall outside. But I think instead of a moonlight, it turned out to be just like a street lamp in the garage, because if you want to simulate moonlight, you need to be having a brighter source way far away, and it would blast on the wall, so you can have a nice roll-off. You might be able to do that with a 600D or even a 1200D with a lantern mount. This picture here is from a music video I DP'd a few weeks back, and we used this exact setup, but instead of a 1200D, we used an orbiter with a lantern mount. I also have off camera here, I also had a light stick, shining a little bit on the wall here, so it can give a nice texture here. All right. Thank you for watching and stay keen until the end. I appreciate you. I have some ideas on what videos I'm going to do, and I would appreciate if you subscribed to my channel so I can see you back in the future. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram and send me a DM there if you want, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.